Hello everybody, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you for joining us on a windy Wednesday across many parts of New Zealand. And it's all related to the big storm in the Southern Ocean, which is now pulling away from New Zealand gradually. So we're on the windy outer edges of it because there's a big high out over towards Australia. We're in that squash zone with the windy stuff in between. And it is fairly windy. We're seeing some big gusts in some exposed areas right up to Auckland and as far south as Southland. But as we go through the next day or so, those winds ease as that big high starts to roll in. But this map kind of shows it really well. It's the wind map for Thursday afternoon, and you can see how the Southern Alps, or at least the South Island, really splits the wind up. And this map, I think, actually clearly shows a couple of other things. It really points out how the Southern Alps can affect the weather into the North Island, but also the eastern side of the South Island. There were a few people like Paul Gorman, who works at the Otago Daily Times, who asked both Met Service and Weather Watch this morning, how come there wasn't much snow in Dunedin? Because it was cold enough for it. Basically because Southland took the shoulder for it. And you can also see what happens. It can also make for settled weather in between, and that's why when we get these storms that pass by in the Southern Ocean, our mountains and ranges affect the weather, and that's why some areas can have a really beautiful, sunny, dry, calm day, but all the headlines are about this big storm that's pushing past the country. So this is how Thursday lunchtime looks, and you can see that storm well out to the southeast. It's moving away. The winds do start to ease back. Still a little bit breezy around Auckland and a little bit breezy around the lower half of the South Island, but it is easing in most other areas. A few showers lingering around Southland. The snow level is lifting, and in the North Island, it's perhaps a little bit colder on Thursday, the last surge of cold air coming in for you. Now, temperature-wise, this is the departure from normal. In other words, how hot or cold is it compared to usual. And you can see most places are actually average for Thursday, but colder than average around the eastern side of the North Island, also Marlborough, but slightly warmer down here around the Southern Alps and over towards the west coast. And that's because that new warmer airflow, this one right here, this northwesterly, is kicking in later on Thursday and certainly for Friday. So that light breeze will be significantly milder than where you have been. And in fact, as we head in towards the weekend, there'll be some parts of northern Southland and central Otago that could be several, maybe 10 degrees warmer than they were this week. So there is a change on the way, but a few showers do linger around on Friday. Let's get into the weekend, and Saturday sees high pressure to the north that encourages these nor'westers, warmer than average in many places, but heavy rain comes back to the west coast and gusty winds through the Southern Alps and up towards Cook Strait. By Sunday, it is a windy day from about Christchurch all the way up to about Auckland. Windy for everybody, but windiest weather will be in Cook Strait, Marlborough and towards Kaikoura, those gusty nor'westers, and there's actually a little bit of a cooler change coming back to the south. Nothing major though, but Sunday looks warmer than average for most parts of the country, especially the North Island. And let's get into next week. We've got Monday's map for you, and I wanted to show you there's a little bit of a subtropical disturbance that could bring down a little bit of rain or showers, but either side, we've got these big sort of sunglasses high pressure systems, and so they're just sitting over the top of New Zealand, and I think there's a good chance they could merge together and block that system, or they might separate a little further and allow this system to come down. Either way, I think the highs are probably going to dominate, but one to just keep a wee eye on. That is all from me for now. Hopefully you'll enjoy the warmer weather. It is on the way finally.